Thank you very much for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. So, with a career spanning 50 incredible years, citizen Usen Jones has cemented his place in the annals of Nigerian journalism. And his remarkable journey has taken him through the halls of old Radio Nigeria Sunshine Station and other broadcast stations across Nigeria. Through it all, he's remained committed to excellence, earning him the prestigious Broadcaster of the Year award at the Nigerian Media Merit Awards in 2013. Usen Jones is a senior lecturer at the prestigious Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, the FRCN Training School, Lagos State. And today we are humbled, I can say as well, that we are blessed to have this veteran broadcaster and mentor. Jones Usen is live with us in the studio to share his remarkable story and inspire a new generation of journalists. Good morning and welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
How does it feel? How often has it been, having you on that side of the seat?
Well, it's been a long time since I've been able to do anything, especially from this side. Yeah, Kemi, and she's Olamide, right? As I told you before I came on air, I have two major regrets. The one is my father, who expressed a lot of dividends.
Allow me to interrupt you.
Okay.
Ask the question. I know you are not used to being in that place, but
so I must play by the rules.
But yes, and you will follow my lead. This one,
I agree.
I promise you, right after.
I defer to you.
I promise you again, even before this interview is over, I'll give you your due your due respect. But on this one, allow me to interrupt you.
Don't worry, I won't go to court.
All right, so let's start from it's the basic. But what's your story as to how did you get here and how did you stay on?
Yeah, asking me the question, I am fighting to run away from the regret. My late father, who passed 51 years ago, in my final year at college, Lagos Baptist Academy, my father asked me what I wanted to do in life. I told him I wanted to go into broadcasting. And he was stunned. One, here was a 20-something-year-old boy saying he wants to go into broadcasting. And he asked two major questions. You think they want people like you? That's one. And two, how much English can you speak? He never knew he fired me up, So in 73, I was in my lower six at the same Baptist Academy. He passed in June, so I dropped out of school. There was nobody to support me. So my attention was focused on going into radio. The very first script I ever read in my life was under the late John Chukwu. I'm sure you've heard it. Right. He is the doyen of stand-up comedy in Nigeria. Wow. John Chukwu used to present a program known as Around Nigeria on good old Radio Nigeria. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. Radio Nigeria is the mother. NTA is the mother, of all radio and TV stations in this country. So, and then in 74, Radio Nigeria would open its doors and windows to prospective broadcasters. And I attended the audition test first time. I failed under the late Martin Zoko. Second time under the late Ikenanda Guba, I failed. A third time under Mrs. Marie. What's her name now? God bless her name. I remember her name. I passed. And then I became admitted into the basic announcers training school. We were 11 in class. My classmates include Mrs. Ngozi Emeka Omera's wife, wow. Patrick Oke, wow. Shola Omole, one-time DG of NTA, Emmanuel Meregini. We also have had Joanna Hokat. But we lost people like Sam Okolo, Jide Adekusibe of Radio Lagos, Kola Shomoye, BC Lashile, and one other one, 5 of them are gone. I don't know how many of them are still practicing. But broadcasters are born. Kemi, you were born. You were not made. Those who are made are those who use broadcasting as a stopgap. After it, they move on to higher ground, But broadcasting has remained attractive to me even at this age. So don't ask me when I want to leave. That's how I got here. And I thank goodness that a gentleman I brought into broadcasting, Mr. Sonny Erabo, is still on air. I brought Sonny Erabo into broadcasting. Sonny was working. Sonny, I hope you are watching me. If I tell lies against you, make we settle, no go court. Sonny was working at the prison service at Alagbon Close. Alagbon was very close to Radio Nigeria of yore, if you remember. I went to look for a friend at the office. I never knew he was there. So here was a gentleman pacing up and down, and he came to me and asked, "Sir, who do you want?" And I mentioned the fellow. And he said, he has not reported. So who do I say came to look for him? I mentioned my name, Jones Usen. And Sonny said, "Oh boy, go. I won't work for radio." And that was it for Sonny. I took Sonny Erabo to Radio Nigeria, auditioned him, and he passed the test, and that was it. In those days, after attending the 10-week intensive course, you were made to double bank. Siene Orwell Brown. Siene, is a radio fellow.
Right.
Siene Patrick Oke, the late Mike Enaoro, and so on. They were radio people. During President Obasanjo's first coming as a military head of state, he divorced radio from TV. It used to be NBC TV. So it divorced the two, and they asked who amongst us wanted to go on TV. And Patrick Oke, Shola Omole, Siene Orwell Brown, Mike Anaro, all of them left. But I am through and through a radio man. Radio is said to be a blind medium, leaves so much to the imagination. So you paint pictures for the listener.
Right.
So I'm here, 50 years after.
50 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you seem very happy about it. From your story, it's been a great journey for you, but I'm sure you must have had some difficulties navigating the evolution of journalism from print to digital. At this point now, we have the social media, we even have the AI that can do most or almost all the things that we have done in broadcast.
Olamide, forget about the pretensions of the social media and its cousins. Broadcasting will remain one head ahead of them because radio signals run faster. That's why the AI will have delayed signals. If you and I were walking down the street and a story broke, me as a radio man, by my telephone, I'm reporting the story, but you, who perhaps came from TV, will be busy looking for a camera. But me, I don't tear ground. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, two major events will come to mind here. The first one is one particular Sunday, my first Director General, the quintessential Dr. Christopher Kolade was going to church on a Sunday morning, Kemi. I played an instrumental piece, a German composer, Beethoven. Have you heard the name?
Beethoven.
What's the name?
How is it called? Beethoven? Beethoven? Okay, now I'm breaking a call broadcasting rule because you just put me in a big trap.
I never threw you under the bus. You know. So Kolade came to the studio. Continuity, we used to call it.
And by the way, what's it called? What's the name called?
I'll get there.
All right.
So Dr. Kolade asked, "Gentlemen, who are you?" That knocked me off.
Okay.
If my Director General no know me, wahala dey. And I mentioned my name, and he said, "Did I sign your employment letter?" I said, "Yes, sir." We'll talk about that later. That one even threw me off balance. And he asked pointedly, that name, that musician you played just now, Beethoven, how do you call the name? I said, Beethoven. Beethoven. He asked again, did you check it up? At the time, I don't know if they do now. You know about the Daniel Jones.
Right.
Daniel Jones, we were trained, they have the 18th edition now. It was the 12th edition for us. In 50 years.
Time.
Yeah, the revision has been 6 times only, you know. I said there was no Daniel Jones. And Dr. Kolade said, go into Ishola Folonsho. You have heard the name Ishola Folonsho, the doyen of radio commentaries in this country. They got to his door. The door was locked. And he said, break the door. Tell whoever queries you that I, Director General, NBC, broke the door. And they broke into the late Ishola Folonsho's office, retrieved a Daniel Jones, and brought it in. I looked up the name, and he said, pronounce the name now. I said, Beethoven, not Beethoven. Okay. It's a German name, right. Beethoven. So Dr. Kolade made to leave the studio, and when he got to the door, he held on to the door and said, gentlemen, the next time you be that name, you'll be out. And that thing can never be lost on me. I'm talking about 1976, wow. You know.
Still almost 50 years ago.
Yeah. So the second event I cannot forget is the one provoked by the late Mrs. Mary Irikefe. You remember Justice Ayo Irikefe, the wife? She was the assistant director then. She called me into her office one day and said, Jones, Bing Crosby has just died. I want a 30-minute program about him for broadcast 3:30 tomorrow in the afternoon. I asked her sheepishly, foolishly, Madam, who is Bing Crosby? And she said, go out, I've given the job. Kemi, I was aghast, but again, what should I do? I went to the gramophone library.
Google was nowhere.
No, there was no Google. Mide, I'm sure you'll be surprised that the late Professor Chino Achebe was able to write the monster book, Things Fall Apart, at the age of 28. You had no Google, nothing at all. So it means the library was your Google at the time. So I went to the gramophone library where we had a Pa Benson Idonije. Benson Idonije is the grandfather of the musician. What's his name now? Burna Boy. You know. I said, Benjay, that is a pen name. Benjay said, I asked him, Benjay, Madam say make I do program on Bing Crosby. Who is Bing Crosby? He said, go into the gramophone library. I went there, saw piles of work by Bing Crosby. The man died playing golf, and 3:30 the next day, I scripted, and Kemi, I was given a letter of commendation. So that thing will stick. So I've been there.
You've been there, living it through, various dispensations, the military, the civilian, and here you are, still going strong. You are still a darling. Those two.
I survived 2 coups.
Wow. Okay.
Namely, the one that ousted General Ramat Mohammed in 1975. I was to be on afternoon duty to relieve a Roslyn Ogbangwa at the time. She is now Mrs. Roslyn Ogunro, fine broadcaster, She was trained the same time as Sienna Orwell Brown, 1973, before our set. So,
that was the first coup?
The first coup.
That was the first coup.
I was ironing my dress when the announcement came. Of course, I couldn't go to work. The second coup was the one that ousted Second Republic Alhaji Shehu Shagari, I waited, I was on morning duty. It was a Saturday, December 31st, if you remember, 1983. The van didn't come to me, and I was surprised. So, of course, the push is always there. As a broadcaster, I made to go out. I was living in the Ewu-Tutu axis of Lagos then. I got onto the highway linking the local airport with the international. I saw khaki boys, soldiers, milling around, all entrances and outlets, they blocked. I flashed my identity card. That didn't work. And then it dawned on me there was a coup. The other coup is the one of, Midi, the idea is not to dampen your breakfast. Nigeria has recorded 9 coups,
right.
Unfortunately. Okay. 5 of them successful, 4 not successful.
Right.
January 15, 1966, Nigeria committed suicide on that day. We have not recovered. You had July 29, 1966. That was the second coup. The third successful coup was the one of former President Muhammadu Buhari, December 31st, 1983. The fourth coup was the one of Babangida that brought him to power, and that was August 27, 1985, if you remember. And the last coup was the one executed by the late General Sani Abacha. And that coup, a crazy one. The announcement came 10:15 p.m. on November 17, 1993. Now, the coups that failed include February 13, if you remember, 1975, that killed General Mohammed. The one that, 2 coups that wanted to remove Babangida, Oka coup, and the so-called Vatsa coup.
Right.
And the other coup was the one late General Abacha involved,
right,
former President Obasanjo.
All right. Citizen Jones, in all of this,
yeah.
I know you want to talk about those 2 regrets.
Yeah.
Let's have a sense into how, what is running through your mind, regarding, the regrets and how you were able to navigate around them.
My first regret remains the fact that my father, who had expressed a lot of diffidence in my being a broadcaster, can you remember me? I be a T-man, and every region in this country has what they call provincialism. If you spoke and you had the H factor, you know what I mean. I go say you be Yoruba. The Igbo man, when he speaks, you can tell. The Hausa man, you can tell.
Allow me to interrupt you again. The backroom boys, as we've learned from you, are nudging me. So let's just quickly have those 2. The first.
Okay. The first regret is my father was not alive to hear me the first day I read the network news, because each time the news came in those days, it was preceded by do-do da-da, do-do, da-do-do, do-do. Simply meant Radio Nigeria Broadcasting Service, but cynics changed it to mean...
I still hear it. I think I still hear it. I still hear that tune. But what's the second?
The second regret is that on this premises, there was a radio station known as Radio Continental. And it gave Philippe, panache to my writing skills. I presented Kubanji Direct for 7 years on that station. I scripted every weekday of this life for 7 years. Right. So, but there was this thing that came and wished the radio station away.
All right, Citizen Jones who said...
am I done?
just hang on.
With the regrets.
Well, yes, with the regrets. Unfortunately, though, we've run out of time, but we are blessed that we can still engage with you. And I'm also thankful that you have a forum where you engage with the younger generation.
Okay.
Where all of your dreams, your aspirations, and we cannot wait, for that book to read more into your rich life, because that is indeed what I can pick from.
Okay.
You have lived a rich life, and we wish you many more years of impact.
Kevin,
thank you very much.
Thank you very kindly.
Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Yeah, broadcasters don't die; they only grow old.
Absolutely, and that's why you're here. Sweet wine, with your age. Thanks again.